Hello and welcome, or welcome back to Read Becca for my weekly catch up on everything I've read, everything I'm currently reading, and everything I'm looking forward to reading. And I forecasted last week this was going to be a very boring week. It is. I have very little to update on. I didn't read much, and I also was mainly focused on my 2 BookTube Prize books to finish up. The good news is I very much do think I will be able to finish my BookTube Prize books this week, so I get to be free to read other things for a little while, for at least a week. So, the thing that I finished this week was Dot by Ron Padgett. As predicted about this in my TBR, it is poetry. I'm not a huge poetry reader, but I had taken away from dipping into it and checking it out that this would be a little bit playful and light, and it was. There's a good amount of wordplay. Not all of the poems worked for me. I didn't get quite a lot of them, especially the longer ones, or there were references to people and occurrences that I had no idea what it was talking about. But the ones that engaged with wordplay and a certain sense of whimsy, I think I liked. And so I want to give you an example of that. Sorry, Rue is on his wheel right now, and I'm just not going to stop. Hopefully I can get through this, because this is very, very much a tongue twister. The title is Agreement. I was. You were. He, she, it was. Wait a minute. Why shouldn't you also be followed by was? If I were you, I'd say was. But I wasn't you. I never was, nor will I ever be. In class, we chuckled when we recited he, she, it was, and the masculine came first, except when going through a door. Then the word she went through a door and into a new world. You wasn't there. You were he, and it kept being it. But don't blame it. It doesn't even know it's there. So I like the sense of that. I like the flow, the way that it doesn't just kind of poke at the reader. And as I said, it's a bit of a tongue twister to get through, but you can tell along the way it's trying to say certain things about the way we use identifiers and pronouns. I like that. I'm not sure I necessarily came around in the end to getting the larger purpose, or if there is a larger purpose to this poem, but I liked the journey that it took us on, verbally, I think. So that was a good example from this. There were a lot of, very rambling poems in here that I just didn't get along with, and that's fine. This was a mixed experience, so kind of as to be expected. The other thing that I focused on was Eating to Extinction by Saladino for BookTube Prize, so I can't really talk about it. I have about 70 pages left, woohoo, so I think I can get through that tomorrow. And I also am working on The Facemaker by, I can't remember her name. I'll put it up here. So The Facemaker is my other BookTube Prize book, and I'm doing it on audio. Both of those, I think I'm in line to get finished over this weekend or very early next week. I will be free for a few days at least from BookTube Prize reading and be able to read some other stuff. I've got still my currently reading pile that was massive that I haven't shown in a couple weeks. I just haven't made any progress on it. Not for lack of wanting to, but I need to get BookTube Prize done. So that is it for my reading stuff, I think, that I'm going to update here. And life has been not really helping me read, definitely. So I think that's the main other update. It's just that every time I sit down to read, my brain is spinning. So I've not been doing so well at making progress on reading. I honestly kind of thought I was going to be finished with both my BookTube Prize books today, hoping that I would be out of that on a day off work, because work has been very stressful and I know that is contributing to things. I've also not been sleeping a ton. I'm sure those two are really contributing to not reading and my brain just going off on tangents every time I sit down. So hopefully reading will get better. But I still think I'm throwing a lot of time at it, and that is making up for my inability to actually make progress. So I think watching wise, I did finish one thing. I finished Glamorous on Netflix and was not really impressed. I like it in theory, but I don't like the way it was delivered at all, especially the way that it ends. I'm not going to spoil that at all, but once you get to the end, I wanted it to be delivered much better through the course of the story. I wanted the whole story to be treated with a lot more respect, because it's kind of just goofy and plays into stereotypes big time. So in this series, it's kind of Sex and the City-esque, except at a makeup company, and you're following a gay character who is very much millennial, trying to be an influencer, lives at home with mom, is just utterly useless and incompetent and fails at everything, and has no desire to do anything but be this influencer, and then gets a job at a makeup company because he's going to be a makeup artist, basically. And I just didn't like that, though I, at the same time, can kind of also see the value in it, because obviously we've had so many stories of straight white men who just fail upward. And this is kind of that with a very flamboyant gay character. And a femme character at that as well. So I think there was value in that. I think it was fun and entertaining, but I just really wanted it to be a little bit more serious and respectful of the story it was trying to tell. And that kind of goes back to Drag Me to Dinner and my frustration with that. I enjoyed it very much, but I felt like at the moment, it can't really be that sort of goofy, ridiculous, over-the-top thing that it's actually doing. I feel like it needs more weight to it. And yes, we should be able to do over-the-top, goofy, even bad deliveries of these type of stories. But man, it was hard to watch at moments as well. There's heavy romantic themes and kind of love triangle aspects, and I just hated the way the main character treated everyone involved or handled their romances, and that was very frustrating. So it was like my book, it was a mixed experience. So I feel like I haven't had any real wins this week on finishing up things. So that is it, I think, for my week, other than the big update. And that is, I talked last week a little bit about having a foster. That foster went back, I think, on Monday. And I have kittens now. So apparently floodgates are open. So I've got foster kittens. One of them has a goopy eye. So we're quarantining in the bathroom for a few days until the goopy eye is better. Since I will have to be able to clean everything. But yeah, that's taking time because I have to go in there and like clean everything and make sure I wash myself and change clothes coming in and out. So it's just a little bit of hassle. Plus, of course, they're adorable cuddly kittens, so I just want to spend time in there, and I don't want to take my books in if they're going to get contaminated with anything. So I've not been reading for that reason as well. Kittens are a great distraction, though, if you don't know. So I love fostering. I'm very happy to be back at it, definitely. So that's it for my week. Thank you all so very much for watching.